Alrighty, righty. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this great big flat earth field underneath the Astrodome, baby. Are you excited about this season or what? Has this not been the most awesome season ever for Houston Astro baseball? I mean, right now we are literally hanging by a thread. We have to win today and tomorrow. We need the Rangers to beat the Guardians. That game is tied up 2-2 in the seventh right now with one out. Nobody on. The Guardians are batting. They're the home team. Earlier today, I actually got up about 4 o'clock this morning. This is the very first game that I've been able to watch of the LSU Tigers this whole season. And my impression watching the highlights is that their offense is just too weak. It's so mediocre, it hurts. The defense is not bad. It's been really great until today. Today, the defense was so-so, and the offense was once again weak. So I got up at 4 o'clock, and when you know it, they lost to Ole Miss. I finally am able to watch a game. It's at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they lose the game basically all the way down to the last play. All they had to do was stop the guy from getting a first down, and they would have gotten the ball back. They couldn't even do that. And then during that game, I was keeping track of the Detroit Tigers game. And unfortunately, they were able to win. So because of that, they secured their wild card spot. And now the Astros have a huge question mark. The question mark for the Astros just keeps getting bigger and bigger, doesn't it? Just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The Astros pregame is on right now. Gregory, it's good to see you. Let's go at some of this. Thank you for your hard work. Ben says, let's go Astros. Really do like the music you make. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Gregory's pulling out the Christian Walker emoticons already. Luke says, never thought Adolis Garcia would be the one to help us out with the homer. It is strange, isn't it? Rooting for Adolis Garcia. And then him hitting a home run and us being happy about it. It's pretty difficult when your entire season, part of your entire season comes down to relying on one of your opponents, one of your rivals, to actually win out a series. I guess they had a pitching change. Oh, okay. Well, there it is. 2 strikes to Arias with 2 outs and nobody on. 1 more out, and the Rangers will be back up to bat. They'll have 2 more at bats, 8th and the 9th. I hate seeing that graphic on the screen there. The Astros were assured a playoff spot for a little while, and then they slipped to a wild card spot, and then they slipped completely out of the race. Yep. Okay, strikeout. That's the end of the 7th inning. The Rangers are due up to bat against the Guardians in the top of the 8th. Still tied up at 2. I'll be keeping track of that game. as it progresses. But anyway, I guess there won't be so many people watching the game tonight unless it gets close. It's hard to say if the Astros are winning solidly. Even then, I'm not sure that there will be too many people following the live stream tonight, but I certainly hope so. That's a lot of red. Look at all those commies. Anaheim's full of a bunch of commies. Communists. Oh, man. They keep talking about Mike Trout, Mike Trout, Mike Trout, Mike Trout. My gosh. If it's not Mike Trout, it's Ohtani. If it's not Ohtani, it's Judge. Got to be sucking up to one of those guys. They wouldn't be talking about Trout at all if he hadn't hit those home runs yesterday. Now they're all they're talking about is how do you contain him? Up into those home runs, they weren't talking about that at all. But now he's got 2 homers yesterday, and now they're like, he's got to be contained. What is the Astros game plan for containing him? How are they going to contain him? Or blah, 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 blah. Why weren't they talking about containing him before the home runs? They think that just because he hit a couple of home runs yesterday that he's going to be hitting more home runs today. I mean, he was really pretty cold before that, wasn't he? Sometimes I really don't get these announcers, the stuff that they prepare for the pregame show. Hey, I've got an idea for the pregame show. I know it's Space City Network, right? It's Space City Network, and this is an Astros channel. But let's spend about 10 minutes talking about Mike Trout. Forget you. What about Jake Myers? Did you guys hear about Jake Myers? Jake Myers is out on the 10-day IL with calf soreness. That's right. You heard me right. If you don't know that, if that's news to you, I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you. But I just heard it myself about 30 minutes ago. I'm so sorry. It's just the way it is. I just realized that I haven't updated my sponsors, my donors. Yep, that's right. Angel Brios, Man of Culture, welcome in. That's right. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. We get Springer back and lose Fromber to Blue Jays. I'd definitely rather have Springer than Fromber, but Fromber is going to be a free agent, so there's nothing we can do with him. Fromber is useless to us because we don't have any ability to trade him away. No ability to trade away Fromber. That possibility is in the past, my friend. Yeah, the Tigers hurt me too. They let me down. Totally let me down. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Why would I do that? I just put my coffee in the wrong spot, a place that I never set my coffee. And that is why, because I just spilled some. I don't think it's too bad though. But that was just a dopey thing to do. I'm glad it had a lid on it. And right, I dump it over right when I'm in the middle of trying to make thank yous for my donors. Let's see here. Caesar. Wow, I had a lot of the same people donate over and over yesterday. I don't have nearly as many people to thank. I had quite a few donations yesterday, but they came from the 4 same subscribers. Very generous. You guys are the all-stars. Astros don't have any all-stars. All-stars, you guys are the all-stars. And that's the truth right there. All right, there we go. Got it updated. Now let's go backwards and save that. Okay. Should be, yeah, it's updated on the screen now. I hope the Astros win too, Gregory. It's about 10:17 in the morning. It feels earlier than that. Maybe it's because I've had such a long morning already. Got up at 4. Just kicked back and watched the LSU game. You know, I really feel like I don't want to watch any more LSU games because I've watched all of their highlights, all of the extended highlights for the first several games, for the first 4 games. And this was the first one I watched the whole game. And all of the highlights, and in this game, no offense. And they're not going to do very well this year if they can't have any offense. Just like the Astros, right? No offense, no victory. AJ Blueball is going to be our starter today, so I'm looking forward to that. He's going to be facing Caden Dana, 0-3 with a 6.39 ERA. The Astros couldn't have, I think they couldn't have an easier gift wrapped opportunity to get into the wild card. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a look at the Rangers game here. There we go. Top of the 8th, 1 out. 2 runners on, first and second. Hellman was hit by pitch. That was the last at bat. Now they've got 2 runners on. Whoa, 3 straight strikes. Is that the first out? Yeah, that must have been the first out against Young. Okay, Hellman's on first base. Moore is on second base with 1 down. I do wish I could pull the video up on the screen. I can't do that. I don't have it. I did check into doing the play-by-play for the other teams. If I want to do any other teams, I'm going to have to buy, I think I'm going to have to buy a separate MLB package because the MLB package I have right now is just for the Astros. So if you guys are interested in that, maybe I can do a fundraiser If I can do a fundraiser through PayPal and everyone's interested in me doing those games, then I'll definitely do it. But paying for another complete MLB package just to do those playoff games, mm, might be a little difficult for me. Hey, Daryl, good to see you. Hey, Tony. Well, Gregory, you never know. The Guardians, they got really hot, right? They got really hot for a while. So if they're able to carry that over, they might be hard to beat. But you know what? In a wild card, best of three, anybody can beat anybody. The Rockies could win a best of three. All right. That's my last coffee for the day, I think. Man, this is a very slow inning. Do they have a pitcher change or something? I'm going to refresh the screen. It's been on Josh Young for a while now. There had to have been a pitching change. Let me double check and make sure. I don't think this is the game of the day. If this is the game of the day, then we can check in on it for free. But I don't think it's a free game of the day. Yeah, let me show it to you here. If you see right here, whoops, let me go. I guess I can't go back. There it is, right over here. You can't see it. There it is. Stop that, Windows. Good grief. Right over here. They got runners on first and third with two outs. I can listen to it, right? I can listen to it on the radio, but I can't show the video. I can't watch the video, the live stream. It's not a free game of the day. Here you can see that this game, the Mets and the Marlins, this is a free game of the day. So I can watch that one. But of course, it's useless to us. It doesn't not something that matters to us. So we'll go back to the Astros game. I'll pull up the Rangers game. Adolis Garcia is at the plate with 3 balls and 1 strike. How awesome would it be for him to hit another homer right here? A 3-run shot. Come on, Adolis. Strike swinging. He's trying. God bless his heart. Fastball at the top of the zone. Full count. With 2 runners on, 2 outs. Come on, Adolis. Homer, baby. Let's jack it out. Even a single would be fine, but I'd much prefer a homer. Come on, bro. You got a guy on third base. You got a guy on first. Let the Astros take care of the Lobsters. Oh, that's going to be it. That's the end of the inning. Oh, Moore tried to steal home plate. I guess there was a wild pitch, and Moore tried to steal home, and he was caught. What a way to end the inning. What a way to kill your rally. Good job right there, Rangers. Good job. 2-2, bottom of the eighth coming up with Guardians coming up to bat. Good grief. Freaking strangers. The Texas Strangers. Yeah, Mr. Page, you're right. Waiting for the Strangers to score is as bad as waiting for the Astros to score. Yeah, and they get runners on, 2 runners on with 1 out. What do? Out. Strand them. Get the lobsters in the boat, and then the boat sinks. Hey, Mr. Page. Me too. I don't have the negative attitude towards the Astros right now. I'm willing to accept whatever happens. This inning that they're showing highlights of yesterday, how amazing would it be for the Astros to play like this the whole game? I mean, I'm not saying that they have to score runs every single inning, but the way they were playing baseball, they were basically doing everything in that inning. If they could do that every inning, I mean, play some freaking baseball. Play baseball. You're a baseball team. Play baseball. It's kind of like the way I felt watching the Tigers. There's so many similarities between watching LSU Tigers football and Houston Astros baseball, because LSU Tigers, it's like you just want to grab the coach and shake the coach and say, play football, man. What are you doing? Play football. Nussmeier, the quarterback for the LSU Tigers, has got to be the most overrated quarterback. Everybody keeps talking about him, and they, even before he became the quarterback, they were like, this is our guy. This is going to be our guy. And they were like, even some people were saying that he could have a really breakout year and maybe even be a Heisman contender. And I was like, no, this guy has been nothing but pure mediocre to me. Ever since I first saw him, he has been 100% pure mediocre. And this year, he's even less mediocre than last year. And they come out in the first quarter and they can't move the ball down the field hardly at all while throwing it. And why is that? Because Nussmeier can't throw the ball to his receivers. He's throwing it behind them, over them, in front of them. His aim was just really bad, and he's not usually like that. I mean, he's usually I wouldn't say his aim is amazing, but his aim is typically much better. Last year it was much better than that, but this year it's been trash. And in this game it was total trash, and they weren't running the ball. And I just had to wonder, how can you be a football team and not run the ball? You know, how can you not run the ball? Run the ball, play football. And it's the same thing with the Astros. How can you not play baseball? You need to bunt when it's appropriate. You need to sacrifice when it's appropriate. You know, you need to take pitches. You need to learn to take pitches. You need to learn to do double steals. There's so many things. You need to learn to steal bases more often. Why don't the Astros do that? It's not like they don't have any fast guys, but it's almost like they're just so scared of having their base runner eliminated that they don't want to steal. They're like ain't too anxious to steal, you know. Hey PK, good to see you. Thank you. But that's how you play baseball. You steal, you bunt, you play some small ball when it's appropriate. You swing away when it's appropriate. You do all the things that you need to do in order to score every single inning, every at bat. That's baseball. Sometimes it's like they just get too cute with coaching, swapping batters out, swapping pitchers out, getting them to do this or do that. I don't know. Kafis just flew out for the Guardians in the bottom of the eighth. 2 strikes and 1 ball to Rocio. Make that 2 balls, 2-2. Let's take a quick look at the Astros lineup today. Jose Altuve will be leading it off. He's playing at second base. Batting second is Isaac the Ball Paredes. He's the DH. Carlos Correa is batting third, and he is at third. Christian Walker batting cleanup again today. And Yainer Diaz batting fifth and catching. I guess we're just trying to lose this game. Zach Cole batting sixth in center field. Jesus Sanchez batting seventh in right field. Mauricio Dubon at shortstop batting eighth. Yep. Taylor Trammell is in batting ninth. So we've got a couple of lefties in there, not all stars. Jesus Sanchez and Taylor Trammell, and we bury them at the bottom of the lineup instead of trying to break up our right-handers a little bit. I mean, who would you rather see? Would you rather see really Walker clean up and Diaz batting fifth? Or would you rather see one of these other guys like Trammell or Sanchez moved up a little bit? I mean, I know it sounds kind of weird putting Trammell clean up or even Sanchez clean up, but to be honest, you got to at least break up Walker and Diaz. I think you have to. You just have to. Getting close to the first pitch time. Got a few more minutes. That's right. It's the middle of the lineup is the rally killer. And you want to hear something interesting? The Astros are one of the best teams this year, one of the top teams in their 7th, 8th, and 9th batters. Their batting average and performance, their on-base percentage, just their productivity in the bottom of the batting order, 7, 8, 9, is some of the best in the league. Now think about how crazy that is. Taking Sanchez, Dubon, and Trammell, who are batting 7th, 8th, and 9th, and swapping them out with Walker and Diaz, in that early part. It might sound crazy, but is it really crazy when you start looking at the stats? Just saying. Just saying. So here's what we got on the screen. The Guardians will clinch their playoff berth if they can win, or the Astros lose. The Tigers are already in. They already clinched because they beat the Red Sox earlier. The Astros have to win all games that are remaining. That means today and tomorrow must win. Absolutely must win. So we need the Guardians to lose to the Rangers, and the Astros must win today and tomorrow. It's as simple as that, guys and gals. Doesn't get any simpler. First pitch coming up in a few minutes. Let's take a look at that game. Let me refresh the screen. Naylor is at the plate. Whoa. Nobody on with 2 outs. But that's a walk. A 5-pitch walk from Armstrong. Naylor is on first now with Quan at the plate. Quan is actually 0 for 3 today against the Rangers. He's got a guy on first with 2 outs. 2 balls outside. That's a ton of balls thrown by Armstrong. He's already walked one guy this inning. That's a strike on the outside, 1-2. Armstrong trying to get the Rangers out of this inning and move it to the top of the ninth. The 2-1 pitch should be coming up in just a moment. Three balls outside, a 3-1 count to Quan. I don't know why they would ever want to walk Quan. It's not like he's a big home run hitter. Full count. That's a strike. Full count pitch to Quan. That's it. They get him out of the inning. He lined out to first base. Nice. Okay. All right. So the Strangers and the Guardians are down to the last inning. It's the top of the ninth. The Rangers are due up. They will be first up with Adolis Garcia, Higashioka, and Tellez. Rowdy Tellez. These are the guys that are going to try to get the Rangers back in it in the ninth inning. Let's see if they have the desire to win it or if they just don't care. Do the Rangers really want to win and help the Astros? Do they care a lot about a Texas team being in the playoffs? Or do they just kind of want to go home, you know? Well, this series doesn't matter too much. We will see. Hey, Bryce Matthews is in the dugout for the Astros. The first pitch from Caden Dana is coming up in just a moment. Altuve has not yet come to the plate because I don't hear anybody booing. As soon as I hear the booing, I'll know that he's up at the plate. Well, PK, I appreciated it. It's not anything to do with being the play-by-play master. It's just being focused on this game. Of course, that game is important, but only the primary details, like you said, the critical details are important. But apart from that, we don't need all the other stuff. Like if somebody walks, if a Ranger walks on first and the top of the ninth, that's not worth updating. I've got the game pulled up here on the screen, and I'm going to be checking it. And I also have a scoreboard that's flashing on the screen, so we can kind of keep track of it that way too. If anybody wants to update it like immediately, they can always check. But I'll be pulling it up on my tab like this right here. I've got it on my screen. You guys can't see it, but it's on my screen. I'm looking at it. The crowd starts to boo, and that means Altuve's at the plate. First pitch from Dana. Can we hit a guy with a girl's name? We'll see. First pitch goes right up the middle. Yes, we can. Altuve says, I can hit a girl pitcher. Very first pitch right up the middle. One pitch, one hit. Jose. Jose, can you see? that he hit it up the middle. That's exactly how the original song was written, by the way. Those were the original lyrics. Isaac Paredes is up with Altuve on first base. 95 on the outside edge. Strike one. Mr. Texas Grass says, let's see if they want to go to the playoffs. It's go time. Absolutely. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Nice line drive, but caught right at the shortstop, and there's no way that they're not going to be able to get that double play. That's sad. As soon as I saw that line drive to the left side, I thought, oh man, that's going to go through the hole. Nope, right into the glove of the rookie that made a couple of errors yesterday. It was a super easy one for him to grab. And just like that, 2 down, 1 lobster created. Carlos Correa comes to the plate with bases empty and 2 outs. 96 below the zone, ball 1. JD, you don't know why everyone... It's stupid. It's stupid why everyone boos Altuve. But the reason is because they think he's a cheater. Because people are stupid. They all think that Altuve was part of the cheating in 2017. And so they boo him. Because they're stupid. That's the fact. 2 balls and no strikes to Correa. Here's the toss. Whoa, way up and inside, 3-0. Yeah, Darlene, it kind of sucks. If we get a walk right here, we could have had 2 guys on base with no outs or 1 out. Here comes the 3-0 to Correa. That's right in there. He takes it right down the middle. 3-1. We need a little South Korea power right now. Come on, bro. You can do it. He grounds that one to the third base side. It's a big hopper. Easy throw to first base. So a leadoff single by Altuve was wasted with a double play ball by Isaac Paredes. And nothing else. Very easy inning for the Angels pitcher. He had 8 pitches. 8 pitches, and the inning is over. Or the top of the first is over. AJ Blue Ball will be up for the Astros in just a moment. Two outs. Is that the third out? Yep, that's it. So the Rangers didn't do anything in the top of the 9th. Looks like. Yep. Strikeout, ground out. Complete fail for the Rangers in the top of the 9th. It's 2-2 in the bottom of the 9th. The Guardians are going to have an opportunity to walk the game off. Well, JD, Altuve is an awesome player, but he never cheated. He never cheated. That's why I say that the people who boo him, they're just doing what everybody else is doing. They're doing what they've been trained to do. They've been trained to boo Altuve. They also boo Correa, if you didn't notice that. Whenever Correa comes to the plate, they boo him also. Blue Ball is on the mound, shaking up the rosin bag, clearing his throat. He's got the ball back. He's warmed up and ready to go. 41 watching right now. 42. Make sure you put a like on the video. I don't expect a huge crowd to come in today. So the more likes, the better. High and outside, 93 miles an hour. That would be ball 1. Here's the next pitch. Low and inside. Luis Renifo at the plate. 2 balls and no strikes from blue ball. Mike Trout is on deck, followed by Taylor Ward. Here comes the next pitch from AJ. High and outside, 3 straight balls. 3 straight blue balls. Here comes the 3-0. 93 on the outside edge. 3-1. JD, I'm not saying that I'm not accusing you of saying that Altuve is a cheater. It's just because of your wording. I want to clarify that he never cheated. I'm clarifying that for everybody so that people don't think that he was a cheater. That's hit to center field. Zach Cole puts it away for out number 1. Rengifo goes down. Mike Trout comes to the plate. Yep, that's right, Jesse. Guardians have a chance to walk it off. All they need is 1 run. Fingers crossed. It'd be kind of sucky for this game to just get started and the Astros to find out they're already eliminated. That'd be a bummer, wouldn't it? It would make this game useless as far as playoff contention is concerned. We'd know for sure that tomorrow's game is the last one for the season. Mike Trout at the plate with a 1-0 count. Here comes the toss. Outside on the Swiffer, 2-0 again. Here comes the 2-0 pitch to Trout. Outside and low, 3-0. 2 3-0 counts. Back to back for blue ball. Next pitch to Trout on the way. That's in there. He fouls it off. 3-1. Three and 1 pitches high. That's a 5-pitch walk to Trout. Got a runner on first with 1 out. No, don't worry about it, JD. You didn't make a mistake. I just want to clarify. Sometimes the message is not clear. And I want to make sure that if there's anybody that's not clear about that they understand. I just want to make sure that it's clear. 93 up and in. Another ball by blue ball. Taylor Ward at the plate. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, 1 runner on. Swing and a miss below the zone on the changeup. And now it's 1-1. Big at bat going on right now with Ramirez. Lots of pitches. Here's the next pitch to Ward. That's in there for a strike. Another foul ball on the inside. That's 7 pitches. Here's the next toss. Up and in to Ward. Two balls and 2 strikes to Taylor Ward. Here, nope. Blue ball goes over to first base. Thought the pitch was about to come in. There's going to be a 9-pitch minimal pitch count to Ramirez by Garcia in the Rangers-Guardians game in the bottom of the 9th. Next pitch to Ward is fouled off. Count remains 2-2. Mike Trout on first base with 1 out. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Taylor Ward. Mr. Faceplant into the wall. And then blame the wall for the injury. Ooh, that should have been strike 3 on that outside corner, that outside lower corner. Call the ball. Wow, 10 pitches now to Ramirez. There's a big battle going on with the Rangers pitchers and the Guardians batters. That's 10 pitches. He's going to have 11. Trout is stealing, and that pitch is ball 4. It doesn't matter. Josh Miller's going to have a little chit chat with Blue Ball. That's back-to-back walks. 1 out, 2 runners on. This is not a good way to start. While they're talking on the mound, let's take a look at this game here. A little pop out to second base. That's 2 down in the 9th. Rodriguez is now at the plate for the Guardians, the Gardindians. Joe Adele comes to the plate to face Blue Ball with 2 runners on and 1 out. Here comes the first pitch to Adele. Just a little above the zone, ball 1. Kyle says that the Mariners streaming service, BC Root Sports, is shutting down. I don't know that. Is that some kind of independent sports network or something? Do they air the games? This is hit high in the air on the infield. Walker and Altuve are under it. Altuve takes it. Walker bounces out of the way and lets the veteran have it. The true veteran. I mean, Walker is also a veteran, but he's not the veteran. You know what I'm saying? He's not Altuve. He lets the Hall of Famer take it. I'll say that. He lets the future Hall of Famer take it. 2 down. Logan O'Hoppe. Every time I see O'Hoppe come to the plate, I see his name. I think, where is his tail? And where is his ears? Fouls it off. 0-1. O'Hoppe the bunny rabbit. Here comes the next pitch from Blue Ball. Nice. Up and in. Swing and a miss. 95-mile-per-hour fastball. It's 0-2 to O'Hoppe. With 2 outs, 2 on. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. The Swiffer low and outside. Ball 1. 1-2. Garcia pitching for the Rangers right now. He's got 2 outs. Just walked a batter. Just walked Rodriguez. They have a runner on now in the bottom of the 9th. The Indians do. Another ball thrown by Blue Ball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Woo, in the dirt. How in the world did Diaz catch that one? Full count. That's no good. That means with 2 outs, these runners are going to get a running start on this next pitch. Let's see if Blue Ball can shut it down. This is your struggle inning, bro. You want to be an ace. This is where you got to get out of it. Ground ball straight up the middle. Altuve gets it, throws it over to first base. It's in the dirt, but Walker lifts it up. He scoops it, and that's out number 3. So Altuve was in the right spot. Didn't make a phenomenal throw, but it got there, and Walker scooped it up, and Blue Ball gets out of the inning. How about that? Blue Ball got into an old-timey jam and was able to get out of it. Let's hope that that's his struggle inning. It's the bottom of the 9th with the Rangers-Guardians game. Looks like right now they got runners on the corners with 2 outs. I don't know what just happened. I guess it was a hit. Rodriguez goes to third base. This is not updating fast enough on the screen. Here it is. Manzardo singled, and Hopping went to third base. Okay, so that's what it is. This information on the ESPN screen does not update very well. So this is it, guys. The Guardians have runners on first and third with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Arias is at the plate. If they just get 1 run, it's over for the Astros. Come on, guys. Come on, strangers. Here's the pitch. He was walked, intentionally walked to get to the next batter. Now bases are loaded for Kafus. Man, talk about getting down to the wire. Christian Walker comes to the plate for the Astros. First pitch is on the way. 95 outside, but called a strike. That was a ball, my friend, but 0-1 is the count. Speaking of 0-1, it's 0-1 to Kafus. Let me show that on the screen. Bases loaded. It's going to be I think that the Guardians just won it. Yep. Kafus is hit by a pitch. The pitcher hit Kafus. The pitcher hit the batter, and they walked in a run. So they intentionally walked. They intentionally walked Arias, or Arias, or whatever you want to say his name is, and to load the bases. And then the next batter, they hit him. The Guardians won. They beat the Rangers when the Rangers pitcher walks in a run by hitting the batter. Can you believe that? That's how the Astros season ends right there. Why does everybody keep saying that the Rangers hit the pitcher? 2 different people say he hit the pitcher. He hit the pitcher. Didn't he hit the batter? Then the pitcher hit the batter. Ground ball to third. Walker will ground out for the first out of the inning on a 3-2 count. Bocce botched it. The bocce botch. Yeah, two different guys in the chat said that he hit the pitcher. And I'm like, that's not what happened. I was kind of confused there because my data said that the pitcher hit the batter. What a way to lose. What a way to get knocked out of the postseason, guys and gals. 0-2 to Yiner. I still haven't heard any update from the Astros commentators about the Rangers' loss. Waiting for them to say something about it. Fouled off at the plate. 0-2 pitch to Diaz is on the way. That's hit out into center field, and that'll be down for a hit. Yeah, apparently not, Jesse. It's not the Astros' year. Yiner is on first base with 1 out. Zach Cole comes to the plate with Diaz on first, 1 away. Here's the first pitch. Too far inside, ball 1. For those of you who do not know, I plan on doing the Texans game this weekend. So if you are a Texans fan, I hope you can join me for that. I need to schedule that game. Here's a toss. 95. Above the zone, swing and a miss. 1-1. Yeah, you're right, PK. Probably going to see a lot of our bench guys, especially Matthews. Here's the 1-1. Strike in the bottom of the zone. That was a nice changeup. Astros commentators are now talking about the Guardians. No postseason play for the Astros. First time in 9 years. 4th longest run in MLB history, I think. Or 2nd? No, it's the 4th. Cole crushes that one to center field all the way back to the wall. It's gone. How about that? There's some joy right there. Zach Cole, something to look forward to in the future. 2-run homer to left center field for Zach Cole. 95 miles an hour at the top of the zone. 398 feet. 2-0 Astros. Jesus Sanchez at the plate. Low and inside. Astros literally just got the news a few moments ago about the Guardians winning. And then they start scoring runs. They start getting hits. Ironic. Swing and a miss by Sanchez. 1-1 is the count. What do you guys want to bet that they destroy the Angels today and tomorrow? Because now it doesn't matter. I wonder if they have bets on the betting sites for that. Yeah, but you know what? The Astros not being in the playoffs actually gives me a little bit of a break. I don't want to take too much time off, but having a little bit of a break is going to be nice. I need a few days off. My health hasn't been so great lately. 2 balls and 1 strike to Sanchez. Yeah, that's right. Could have been us. 96 at the top of the zone, fouled off. The count is now 2-2 to Sanchez. 1 out. Nobody on. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Sanchez takes that one inside. Now, here's a good discussion question for you guys and gals. Now that we don't have too much to pay attention to in the way of baseball, I'd like to know your thoughts about retooling. What changes do you think that the Astros management are definitely going to make, or the owners going to make next year? Sanchez goes down swinging on the changeup. You can see that homer by Zach Cole, 95 at the top of the zone. Now, I know that it's easy to feel emotional about the season and blame a lot of different people. But if you had to pick 3 people that you think definitely will not be in the Astros organization come next season, what 3 people do you think they'll be? Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Doobie. Check swing, foul ball. 0-2. Doobie strikes out. Swing and a miss with the ball in the dirt. There's that homer by Zach Cole. He was smiling as it was going out. Too little, too late. Too little, too late. Jesse, I don't want to limit it to players. It could be a manager, it could be a coach, it could be a player. Anybody in the organization. Anybody in the organization. Now, obviously they have more than one hitting coach. So if you say both hitting coaches, I'll let that count as one. Okay? If you think both hitting coaches will go, just as an example. But if you say the head coach and the hitting coaches, that would be like 2. But if you think probably it's going to be 3 players before it's any of the coaches, then you can pick 3 different players. So it's up to you. You could pick a manager, a coach, a player. Well, Prodigy, no. Fromber's a free agent. My question is, who do you think will be let go? Let go, like fired. Fromber is not going to be an Astro next year unless he signs into the contract. I'm talking about people who are actually under contract with the Astros. People that we would have to fire. When I say let go, I mean fire. We're not letting go of Fromber. Fromber is going to sign with whoever will pay him. Jesse, that's a possibility. It's a possibility. Their doctors, team doctors, that could be one. Could be. You never know. Blue Ball is back on the mound. He is facing Christian Moore. That's above the zone. Yeah, if you guys want to give me more than 3, because to me, it could be 5 or more. It really could be. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Way high. Christian Moore hasn't gotten anything to swing at yet. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, Hunter will be back. We've got Hunter for like 3 more seasons. I think we have him through 2028, if I'm not mistaken. PK says Chaz McCormick, and the entire medical staff. 92 above the zone on a 3-0 pitch. 4 straight balls from Blue Ball. So it looks like the Astros not making the postseason is bothering Blue Ball, but it's not bothering Cole. Cole's like, I'm going to keep building my cred, my street cred. Prodigy, good question. He says, is Espada safe? I don't think we can say that he is. I mean, he's definitely not going to be kicked out, but he definitely isn't going to keep his job, you know? JD says, get Walker the hell out. Wow. I was wondering if anybody was going to say Dana Brown and Paris Chica. Wow. Bryce. Brendan. You mean Bryce Matthews? Are you talking about the rookie? Our minor league guy? Or is there a different guy? Wow. 3 straight balls to Oswald Peraza while I'm looking at the live chat. AJ Blueball has thrown 7 straight balls. Oswald Peraza with the 3-0 count. That's in there. Finally throws a strike. 3-1. Jesse says, I think that Espada is coming back. Can't blame him for injuries. Oh, the pitching coach, Josh Miller. That's a strike and a steal attempt. Bad throw by Diaz. Altuve catches it, but he can't make the tag. So Moore is in at second base with a steal. Terrible throw there. Here comes the full count pitch to Peraza. Up and in, ball 4. That's back-to-back walks for Blue Ball. We have runners on first and second with no outs. They're comparing Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh for MVP, but I think there's no comparison. I think it has to be Judge. It has to be Judge. I know that Raleigh's had an amazing year for his position, but look at the batting average, 331 versus 248. Look at the OPS. Look at the stats are all in Judge's favor. He's only got a few home runs less. I mean, come on. Daryl says we're winning. Someone get a camera. Should I do a screenshot, Daryl, and post it on the community? We may have been kicked out of the playoffs, but by gar, we had a lead. Wow. Foul ball on the right side. Blue ball went over there to get it. Walker was calling for it, and blue ball was like, no, I'll get it. Out number 1. I've seen Bloom Ball do that a couple of times on the mound. He doesn't fool around with that, man. He wants to catch it. He wants to get that out. How does the farm system currently look? Any promising players? Well, I do know that the Astros have had a couple guys come in, even a couple of guys from the LSU World Series team. We've got some guys, fresh guys coming in from college, but from the minors, I'm not really sure, to be honest, JD. Blue all fakes a throw to second base. Bryce Teodosio is at the plate with an 0-1 count. 2 runners on, first and second, with 1 out. Here's the toss. Low and outside. Jesse wants to know if anyone really thinks letting Walker go is good for the Astros. If so, who can replace him at first base? Isaac Paredes. That's my quick answer. There's already been talk about Isaac Paredes being played over at first base, because Isaac cannot be shifted to second base. He just can't. He absolutely cannot play second base. Now, can he play a solid first base? It's a question, but it is a possibility. Low and outside, 2-2 to Teodosio. PK's list is Dana Brown, Chaz McCormick, Josh Miller, entire medical staff, Brendan Rodgers, Daniel De Los Santos, Taylor Trammell. All those guys are gone. And Valdez, but but Valdez is going to be a free agent, so he doesn't really count on the list. Full count. It looks like I've got more thunderstorms coming my way. That's the last thing I need. It is so squishy outside. I don't know how much experience he has at first base, Jesse, but there are media guys, Astros media and podcasters talking about it. And I think there has been some discussion about, what they might be doing with Paredes whenever he's back full time. Because if Jordan is healthy and Paredes is healthy, I mean, obviously you can put Jordan in left field, but do you really want to work out Jordan a lot? That's a strikeout for blue ball, foul tip into the glove of Diaz on the full count. 2 down. Runners remain on first and second. Nice toss. Do you really want to? Jordan just gets hurt so easily. He is like that expression. A guy who's like really soft hearted and they say, oh, he's like a big old teddy bear. I feel like Jordan's body is like a big old teddy bear, too soft. He gets injured so easily. I don't like the idea of him staying out left field a lot just so Isaac Paredes can be the DH. I want both of them in the lineup, but I think that having Isak in the field is a much better benefit than having Jordan in the field. Having Jordan in the field is dangerous, and he's not as good of a defender as Isak is. If he can play first base, then I'd much rather have him there than Walker. But I don't know. I don't know. It's speculation right now whether he can do it or not. This is a foul ball straight up in the air. Diaz is underneath it and puts it away for out number 3. So blue ball gets out of it. The Astros preserve their lead. 2-0 STROS at the end of 2. Tomorrow's game will be our last game for the Astros this season. It feels weird to say that. And like I said, I will be doing the Texans games. And starting next month, I will be doing the Houston Rockets games. I'm just letting you know right now. And I want to say I appreciate all of you for being here through all of the Astros nonsense. Got about 61 people listening in right now. If you have not liked the live stream, I'd appreciate you doing so. But I'm going to slightly alter the name of my channel to better represent the fact that I'm doing multiple Houston sports. And I've whittled it down, I think, to 2 options. And I'm going to ask you about those options right now. And you can vote and tell me what you think. The very first pitch to Taylor Trammell is smacked out into left field and caught for out number 1. Let me retype that. I don't like that it's all in caps. There we go. Those are the 2 main options, I think. I don't want to change the name of the channel too much. I just want to alter it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because if I just stick with Go Stros and I'm doing Texans and Rockets games, it's a little confusing for new people coming in, right? It's not quite accurate. Well, Bryce Matthews is in. Altuve's out. That might have been Altuve's last at bat this year. Altuve was 1-for-1 with a single. That might be the last time he bats this season. 86 low and outside. 1-1 to Bryce Matthews. JD thinks that Tucker will be a Yankee. PK also thinks, is it you, PK, that thinks that Fromber's going to New York? That'd be kind of funny to see Tucker and Fromber go to New York. Low and outside, 1-2. Why is the count 1-2? Should be 2-1. This umpire called a strike on a pitch that was clearly a ball. Can't wait for that strike zone, that automatic strike zone. That's strike 3. Bryce Matthews comes to the plate and takes a 4-pitch strikeout. Good job, bro. You were struck out by Goldilocks. I can't make fun of that guy. His hair looks like mine when it was long. The Batman Victor Caratini is in. Isak Paredes is out of the game, and Caratini is in. Let me get caught up on some of these chats. They've got a little break on the mound, so I'll get caught up on what you guys are saying. Mariners drafted that sick pitcher from LSU. Yeah, LSU had several really good players. PK says, I don't know how you move Walker. His deal is massive. He's the most unwieldy player as far as maneuvering in the AL. Yeah, everything he does kind of feels like running in a dream. You know how when you're dreaming something and you try to do something really fast, like you try to run fast or you try to fight somebody or you try to do something really quickly, it's like in slow motion. Like you're running underwater. That's how Walker looks to me when he's moving. When he's running and moving around, no matter how hard he tries, it looks like he's running in water. Caratini grounds out, and that's going to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down for the Astros in the top of the third. It's 2-0. 3 hits for the Stros. And just 1 lobster. Can you believe it? 10 lobsters for the Angels and no runs. I like to see that. They've been getting some guys on base, but they have not been able to bring them in. Bottom of the third coming up in just a moment with Mike Trout due up. JD says, yes, dump Walker. He's not good and hurts us in the lineup. He definitely has hurt us in the lineup. Jesse asks, what about Wesneski? Didn't play much because of his injury since June or May. To me, Wesneski is a question mark because until he gets back in and plays consistently, there's no way to know how he's going to pan out. But we'll see. Yeah, we're not going to see Wesneski for a while. So he didn't even cross my mind because I didn't think we'd be seeing him anytime soon. Daryl says the Astros need to make some big pitching changes in the offseason. Yeah, well, not just that. I feel like we have to make changes in pitching. We have to make some changes in our batting. We have to make changes in our coaching. And it's just, where do you start, you know? Most games missed due to IL. The Astros wound up second most with almost 2,000. The closest team to them in their division was the A's, and they were about 600 behind. That's how much the Astros were hurt this year. Almost 2,000 days missed by injured players. 1377 missed by the A's, and they were the closest to the Astros in the division for missed days for injuries. That's crazy. That's why I said that the Astros still deserve to go to the playoffs because of all the crap they've been through. 1 ball, 1 strike to Trout. 94 fouled off. It's 1-2. Prodigy wants to know if the Astros take a chance of signing a free agent like Dylan Cease. I'm going to say it depends, Prodigy. If the price is reasonable, then why not? But I definitely wouldn't overpay. I don't want them to get a guy who's past his peak. And I don't want them to get a guy who's 34, 35 years old. Dubon picks up that grounder from Trout and throws it over to first base for the first out. Taylor Ward is due up next. 50 pitches now for blue ball. I feel the same way about a pitcher like Dylan Cease that I feel about any pitcher that the Astros pick up when it comes to starters specifically, because, starters are the big money guys typically. If they're going to pick up a guy and they're going to spend money for him, you better make sure that he's not past his peak in age or performance. Don't get a guy like Walker. Don't get a guy like Jose Abreu. Don't bring in guys and don't bring back guys that we got rid of. That's a hit into center field for Ward. Runner on first base. That's actually the first hit of the game for the Angels. I didn't realize that blue ball, despite all the traffic on base, he hadn't given up a hit yet. But the Angels have a guy on first with 1 out. Joe Adele is at the plate. What's Tucker doing next season? Yeah, I don't think the Cubs are going to keep him. I don't know where he's going to go. Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, there's no way Tucker's coming back. Little tap to the mound. Blue ball goes to second base. We might get a double play. How about that? Bryce Matthews covers second base, and it goes from blue ball to second to Bryce Matthews and then over to first base to Walker. That's a double play to end the inning. Nice. I like to see that AJ Blue Ball really loves to play defense. He likes to catch that ball. He likes to try to make the play. He likes to be in the play on defense. He's not just pitching. He really wants to be in the play. That's nice. It's good to see. That's end of 3. The Astros up 2-0. 3 hits for the STROS, 1 for the Angels. No errors. We'll be in the top of the 4th in just a moment with Ramon Urias, Christian Walker, and Yainer Diaz due up. Yeah, that's right, JD. That's the same thing I was saying earlier about Jordan. He's delicate. He's a delicate guy. I think that if I were to get in a fight with a big guy, I'm 6'2". I'm not a small guy. But even in my health condition, I've got terrible anemia. I've got clogged arteries, I've got clogged blood vessels. My blood flow is not good. So fighting somebody would probably kill me, probably cause me to have a heart attack or something. But if I were to fight with Jordan, even though Jordan is in better shape than I am, he's bigger than me, I still feel confident that I could beat him very easily. Because all I have to do is just kick him in the leg. Just kick him in the lower leg, and he will crumple like a flower. He will wilt like a flower in the sun. He's a gentle giant. Prodigy suggests Go H-Town Sports. I also considered Go Space City Sports. Jesse says, my question of the Astros organization is how do we reduce injuries? What is the organization doing so wrong to have so many injuries? Well, Jesse, it's a good question, but I will say this. If you look at the league, I I would highly recommend you all to go watch this video that was done by the Locked On MLB channel. And I'm not talking about Locked On Astros. I'm talking about the Locked On MLB channel because there's a guy on there that did a video comparing a lot of the pitching stats from today's modern major league to the major leagues of like the 80s and the 90s. Way back then, teams were using below 20 pitchers per season. Urias, after 2 strikes, he grounds it to short, and he gets thrown out at first for 1 down. Christian Walker will be up in a moment. And here's the thing. Way back when, back in the day, the major league teams didn't use more than about 18 pitchers, and that was the maximum. Like the team that used the most pitchers throughout the year would use about 18. They pitched more innings than our pitchers today pitch. That's grounded down the first base side. Strike 1. The pitchers of yesteryear also, they didn't just pitch more innings. They threw more pitches. They had more complete games. And they had less injuries. The Astros this year had more than 30 pitchers. They used more than 30 pitchers. And in all of MLB, there is an injury epidemic with the pitchers throughout all of MLB. So in all of MLB, the number of pitchers used throughout the year has gone up almost twice as high as it used to be just a few decades ago. Injuries are up. Innings pitched are down. Number of pitches thrown are down. Why is that? There is a big problem in the MLB. I don't know what's causing it. But the pitchers of today don't have the staying power. They don't have the stamina. The injuries are higher. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. So your question is good, Jesse, but it's also a much bigger question. I'd apply that same question to the whole league. That's crushed to left field. It might be a Walker homer. And it is a moonshot for Christian Walker. Of course, Walker starts hitting home runs right now. No pressure. It's 3-0 Astros in the top of the 4th. Where was that against the Mariners, fool? Cole hits a 2-run shot. Walker hits a homer. Where was this against the Mariners? That's what I want to know. Sarcastic Prodigy coming in with the sympathy super chat. We'll say the symphony sympathy super chat. Arigato, my good man. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Probably the only one I'm going to get today. Yainer Diaz at the plate with the 1-1 count after that foul off. I'm paying a lot more attention right now to the live chat. You guys have more of my attention than the ball game does. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Yainer with 1 out, nobody on. Let me go back up here and see what I missed. Yeah, Casey, you got to see a homer. Well, there's something. Here's the 1-2. Low and outside, a slider in the dirt outside, and Yiner did not swing at it. Good for you. 2-2. Jesse wants to know if Chandler Rome has ever asked Astros about any plan to reduce injuries. Well, I do know that they talk about it, Jesse. They do talk about it on his show, but to what extent does he press and push the Astros for answers? I don't know. That's fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Yiner. 50 pitches now for Dana. Caden Dana. Here comes the next toss. In the dirt. Full count. Juan says, go Astros. Good luck next year. Thank you for the AL games. You're welcome, Juan. If you're not here for the Texans or the Rockets games, then I appreciate being here for the Astros content. And we'll look forward to next season. Hopefully all goes well. Another foul ball by Yiner. The count remains full. JD says Brian Wu may become a free agent. I would not be opposed to getting Brian Wu, JD. Swing and a miss by Yiner, and that's a strikeout. Let's take a look at this one. Oh, I thought that was going to be a replay of the strikeout. That's Walker's home run. That was a curveball that was just hit all the way up to the moon and just kept carrying and carrying. Speaking of home runs, Zach Cole is at the plate. He had a 2-run shot earlier. Curveball low and inside, strike one. TK says McCullers is under contract, but it wouldn't surprise me to see him forced out. He'll most likely retire. Yeah, we might not ever see McCullers pitch again, you know. 87, low and outside. 0-2, rather. Yeah, that's right. Jordan, the Astros, Yao Ming, very talented, but large and injury prone. Spot on. Here comes the 0-2. Woo! Cole takes a dangerous pitch right outside. 1-2 is the count. Doug says, yeah, it's counterintuitive. They're throwing less innings, but getting more injuries. Yeah, they're using more pitchers, throwing less innings, shorter games, and getting more injuries. I mean, how does it make any sense? Please make it make sense. It should be investigated by MLB to find out what exactly is going on. Foul ball. The count is 1-2 to Zach Cole. Here comes the toss. Way outside, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Jesse says Walker's trying to make that last-minute impression. Well, he's going to get his money either way, right? So why care? Outside, full count. Yeah, 8 days ago, we could have had the 2nd seed. Now we're out. Amazing what losing does. Yeah, especially when other teams are winning. That makes it especially worse. Outside, Cole gets a walk. Something we don't get to see very often. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate again with a runner on and 2 outs. Mr. Page says Walker's 3rd game in a row with a homer. Never saw Jose Abreu or Singleton do that. Seen Singleton hit a couple of blasts. 3 days in a row? I don't know about 3 games in a row. Singleton was one of those guys where I was really sad to see him just unable to become a consistent player because, man, he had so much power. And, of course, everybody liked his bat flips, but bat flips were funny and entertaining, but I liked his power. He could crush the ball when he got a hold of it. 0-1 to Sanchez. Here's the toss. Low and inside. Cole steals 2nd, and there's no throw. think that's 3 steals for Cole. Casey says, let's go. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. 95 right in there and fouled off. 1-2. Yeah, Prodigy, the umpires seem to regularly be against the Astros, unfortunately. Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Sanchez with a homer. Who else is going to get a homer for the Astros? Devon grounds it up the middle. That's going to have to be a quick play, and he gets him for out number 3. But the Astros get 3 more in the 4th inning with a couple of homers. All of the Astros runs coming on the big swing of the bat. 5-0 going in the bottom of the 4th. Yep, Casey, ring it up. Yeah, Paul, whenever Singleton got back with the Space Cowboys earlier this year, he started off pretty hot. I think he jacked out like 3 home runs. Like was it 2 in one game or 3 in one game or 1 in one game and then 2 in another game or back-to-back home runs or something? He just suddenly, when he came back, he just seemed to get on fire a little bit. I guess that cooled off because I didn't hear much else about it. Let's take a look at my poll here. Which name do you think is best for the channel? Since I'm going to cover the Rockets and the Texans, I need to modify my name a little bit on the channel, but I don't want to modify it too much. I want it to be clear. But I don't want to change it too much, I put 2 choices up there mainly because these are the only 2 ideas that I think are close to the original name, the Geaux, STROS, right? But I don't think I told you guys and gals this, but there's another reason why I was thinking that I needed to alter my channel name anyway, and here's the reason why. I was going to create some logos and some shirts and things like that I can sell in my online store. But if I put a Geaux STROS logo, even if I don't use the actual Astros star or the Astros logo, even if it's not definitely Astros copied stuff, there's still a possible copyright infringement. If it can be seen as suggesting the Astros directly, then it can be a copyright violation. So using the name Geaux STROS on stuff that I sell is not recommended legally. But if I change it to something else, like one of these, then it's no problem. So that's another reason why I really need to change the channel name just a little bit, just to alter it a little bit. So that's why I was thinking, like, right now it's 52% Go Dome, the Go Dome. And to me, it's kind of a throwback. And I also like the idea of the dome kind of covering everything. It's all encompassing. It covers all sports. 94 fouled off. Logan O'Hoppe is at the plate. Blue Ball is on the mound. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I think I'll go ahead and end the poll right there. I've got 21 votes. I don't think I'm going to get too many more. This is hit to Bryce Matthews at second base, who makes the throw to first. And that's out number 1. Christian Moore is due up in just a moment. Go 713 Sports. 93 up and in. Go Town. Go H Town. 92 up and in. Well, there are some other YouTube channels that have used the H Town. So I would have to look up. I'm trying to find something that's very unique. I don't want to be mistakenly associated with any other organizations or channels. 3-0. Strike on the inside edge. Christian Moore has a 3-1 count from blue ball. Nobody on, one out here in the bottom of the fourth. Here's the toss. 93 right in there. Full count. I even thought about the big throwback to the Superman movie. 94 on the inside. Broken bat, it sounded like, to left field, but Trammell's underneath it for out number 2. You guys remember in Superman where he says, is this the planet who? He says, so this is the planet Houston. And then the guy says, Earth. It's the planet Earth. But he calls it the planet Houston. I thought it'd be kind of funny to use that and just be like, go Houston. It's kind of a joke, but I don't know how many people would get that. This is hit hard out to right field in the corner and just foul. Stanchi got over there a little late, but that was right into the wall. Inches to the right of the foul line. Let's see how close that was. Yeah, even on the screen you couldn't see it, but it was maybe 3 inches foul. 0-1 is the count to Oswald Peraza. Where's Oswald? Just play their hearts out the rest of the season, all they can do. Yeah, that's all they could ever do. Did they always do it? It's hard to know. Fouled off 0-2 to Peraza. Here's the pitch. Paul. Yeah, I saw the movie many times. Here's the pitch, the 1-2. In the dirt, low and outside. Two balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. AJ Blueball has completed 21 consecutive scoreless innings with the Houston Astros. How about that? 4 innings with 1 hit. How many walks does he have? Let's see. 4 walks. 2 strikeouts. Just 1 hit. Mostly ground outs and fly outs. Not a single run scored. Blue Ball's ERA is 1.69. Tommy Likey. It looks like the Tram is due up next, followed by Bryce Matthews and the Batman Victor Caratini. Let's see here. Let me see if I can crank this up. Here you go. Here you go.
So this is Planet Houston.
I love it. Zod. Of course, Jake Myers is out with on the IL for the end of the season, and so is Jordan, and so is half the Astros staff. It's only appropriate that they would end 2025 with lots of players going back on the IL, right? Not going on the IL just for the first time, but going back again on the IL. The tram fouls off the first pitch for strike one. Jesse wants to know if blue ball can be the next ace that replaces Valdez. You never know. Jesse, you never know. Here's the toss. Low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Grounded to the first base side. He's going to toss it to the pitcher, but I think Trammell was safe. They called him out. Trammell's like, hey, I think I was safe. They tossed that ball. They tossed that ball to the pitcher. Espada says he's not going to challenge it. Let's take another look at this. Ah, barely. He barely beat Trammell by a split second. That was close. 1 away. Bryce Matthews at the plate. Taken in the middle of the plate for strike one. Here comes a 0-1 pitch from Dana. He's up to 70 pitches now. Swing and a miss, strike two. Enyel De Los Santos is warming up, so it looks like blue ball is done. We will probably not see him in the bottom of the fifth. Here's the pitch. Grounded to shortstop, scooped up, and he fires it over to get Matthews at first base for out number 2. Victor Caratini comes to the plate. Next. Happy Sunday to you, Daniel. Yeah, that's right. Shoot 'em. Astros turn it on. The only thing that's left for them to do right now is save a little face, right? What's left? Because there's nothing else to play for. Maybe dignity. That's all. 0-1 is the count after the foul ball to the Batman. Here comes the pitch. Low and inside, 1-1. How many people do we have sticking around? 54. You guys are awesome. I'm shocked. The Astros have been eliminated, and yet I still have over 50 people hanging out. That's nice. Swing and a miss. One ball, 2 strikes to Caratini with 2 outs. You guys are awesome on the likes. Check swing. Did he go around? They say yes, he did, and that's a strikeout. So the Batman goes down swinging. Astros up 5-0. We are finished with 4.5 innings of ball. This game is halfway done. But the Astros goose has been cooked for this season. Bottom of the 5th coming up in just a moment. More than likely, we will see Enyel De Los Santos replacing AJ Blueball. De Los Santos was warming up in the bullpen for the STROS. Larry, that's impossible. It's impossible for the Astros to win the World Series in 2025. They are eliminated, my friend. They don't get to go to the playoffs. So if you didn't know that information, I'm sorry to be the one to break it to you. Robert Garcia says, I'm always going to ride or die for my H-Town teams. No wagons over here, Podna. I hear you. That's the whole reason why I refused to jump on the New Orleans Saints bandwagon. You guys remember back in the day, several years ago, when the Saints and Drew Brees went to the Super Bowl, and they won a Super Bowl that I think they shouldn't have won, but they did. There were a ton of bandwagon fans who got on the Saints bandwagon. Before that, the Saints were just a joke. They were always a joke. Every year they were a joke. And then suddenly they go to the playoffs and everybody becomes a Saints fan. And then they win the Super Bowl. And then all of the people who were Cowboys fans, because in Louisiana, there were more Cowboys fans than Saints fans. But whenever the Saints went to the Super Bowl, suddenly everybody's a Saints fan, right? Ton of bandwagon fans. And everybody got started. And it didn't happen before that. But after the Super Bowl, everybody was always on me about not being a Saints fan. They were really annoyed with me. And I would tell them, what are you so upset for? You're just a bandwagon fan anyway. I was constantly getting dissed for wanting the Saints to lose. And I said, you don't understand. Once an Oilers fan, always an Oilers fan. Just like you, Robert. I was born and raised as an Oilers fan, a Houston fan. I just can't pick up another team. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Guzman, the rookie. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. De Los Santos picks up a strikeout on 4 pitches. 1 down. Bryce Teodosio comes to the plate. One strikeout today for Mr. Teodosio. 96 miles an hour up and in. Swing or not, that's a strike. 0-1. Here's the toss. A little outside, 1-1. Jeffrey says, sup, if this were the NBA, 20 teams make the play-in. Too many teams. Yeah, that's right. 20 teams making the playoffs is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Here comes the 1-1. 87 miles an hour, fouled off. In the bottom of the zone, 1-2 is the count. The college football playoff system leaves a little to be desired, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. You know, you have way too many schools, way too many teams. You got to find a way to organize that, you know. Swing and a miss, another strikeout. Man, the Astros pitchers and batters looking so good now that it doesn't matter anymore. You know, Robert, my Oilers stuff, as far as I know, is still in my mom and dad's storage shed back in Louisiana. Whenever I left America almost 13 years ago, my mom refused to let me give away or throw away or sell all my stuff. She made me put it in her storage shed, but she passed away a few years ago. And I don't know what happened to all that stuff. I don't know what my dad has done with all of that. I haven't talked to him in a couple of years. 86 at the bottom of the zone, fouled off by Rengifo, and that's 0-2. De Los Santos trying to pick up another strikeout here. 2 outs, no balls, 2 strikes. Oh, man, Ray Childress is not in the Hall of Fame? That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, this is why the Astros are doing better. They're putting in all of their newbies, PK, in the dirt. 2-2. This is like a throwback to the reason the Astros were winning at the beginning of the year. They had all the injuries, so they had to bring in all these rookies and all these new guys, and they did better than the experienced lineup. Here's the 2-2, way high, full count. Ooh, man. Full count pitch. Grounded up the middle. De Los Santos tried to catch it behind his back, but it didn't matter. It goes to the shortstop. It's tossed over to first base, and it's 3 up and 3 down. An easy inning for the Astros and De Los Santos. We're finished with 5 innings of ball. 1 hit for the Angels, 5 for the Stros. 5-0. Today's lobster count is amazing. The Astros have 1 guy left on base that they did not move around. Just 1 lobster lost. The Angels, on the other hand, have 11. The script has been flipped. Insane. Robert says, I just bought a nice Love You Blue tank top. Still haven't pulled the tags. Robert, let me ask you a question. If you know this, that would be great. But if not, maybe somebody else knows. Do they still have a lot of those flea markets around Houston where you can go and still find a bunch of Houston Oilers stuff? Because I remember several years ago, before the Texans were formed, during that time when Houston didn't have an NFL team anymore, I actually visited Houston. It might have been, I can't remember for sure. It might have been during the time that my grandmother passed away and I was there for her funeral. I can't remember, but I was there. Me, my mom, and my sister, we went to a flea market, a really big flea market in Houston. And while we were wandering around, my eyes just lit up because they had a lot of Houston Oilers stuff. They had complete sets of Houston Oiler mugs and tumblers and like license plates, and just all sorts of Houston Oilers stuff. And I was so amazed by that. I was like, holy freaking cow, this is awesome. I bought several Houston Oiler things at that time. Ramon Urias on the very first pitch grounds out to the pitcher. Christian Walker comes to the plate. Jesse says, used to really focus on the Rockets. But all these years, Astros going to playoffs every year, so hyper-focused on the Stros, never paid any attention to other sports. Not a multi-sport fan. Wears you out. Well, that's the thing, though. If you get really emotionally involved into all the teams, it's I don't really believe in getting completely emotionally involved with any team or with anything or with any person. And what that means is I think that whenever you obviously have different emotional experiences in life, right? You have undesirable emotional experiences, you have neutral emotional experiences, and then you have joyful ones. Walker is at the plate with a 1-1 count, by the way. Here comes the next pitch from Dana. Fouled back, 1-2. So if you have a joyful experience, then you can accept that and take it into your heart, really feel it, really enjoy it, savor it, live in the moment, really, really soak it in. Little tapper, another one back to the pitcher, and he just takes it himself all the way over to first base. Why not? 2 down. Yainer Diaz due up next. But when it comes to the negative things or the the kind of experiences that don't feel good, whenever they happen to you and you have them in your hand, right? You can acknowledge them and be grateful that they happened and that they exist. You can acknowledge the existence of those things, but then you just let them go. You know what I'm saying? Guzman gets a grounder from Diaz, double pumps, then fires it over to first base for out number 3. So that's 2 ground outs to the pitcher and 1 ground out to the shortstop, and the Astros are down in order in the 6th inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. So the way I look at it is the Astros games are a good example. They've not had a good season, and they didn't even get into the wild card. Even though they had a slight chance at the very end, they still weren't able to get in. Emotionally, this could be very devastating and hurtful and depressing and exhausting to fans who are really emotionally involved in the team's performance. But like I said, the way I look at the Astros is the same way I look at any other team that I like, and that is when they're doing well, they win a game, they're performing well, or they're breaking records, or they're destroying opponents, making the playoffs, winning championships, whatever. I fully enjoy those things. I soak it in and I revel in it, you know? But when they're losing games, especially games they should be winning, or they get swept by teams that they should be beating, they miss out on the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I refuse to allow those emotions to get inside of me and take hold. I acknowledge them and I let them go. So I think that if we're able to do that with all teams, then multiple sports is not a big deal because you're not tying up the way you feel with how the team performs. But it takes concentrated effort to change yourself, you know? Yeah, Thomas, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. You're welcome for the live stream. Yep, no playoffs. Whether we have the same record or a better record than Detroit doesn't really matter to me anyway. What matters is did they get into the playoffs or not, and they didn't, so it doesn't really matter. If the Tigers, of course this can't happen, but if the Tigers are in the same division, they got into the playoffs and we didn't, that would be crazy. That would be bothersome. But that's not possible. Since they're in a different division, even if our record is better. Oh my gosh, we've got a black rhino sighting. Holy freaking cow. I get to put up my black rhino picture, guys. JP France is in the game for the Astros. There is my picture. Boom. Finally, I've got my black rhino JP France picture on the screen. There has been a black rhino sighting on the screen. 85-mile-per-hour changeup. Mike Trout at the plate with a 2-2 count. Come on, Rhino. Here comes the toss. 94 on the outside. Fouls it off. Hey, Venture Cast, good to see you here. Venture says it was an interesting season to be sure. I think the Astros did well to even be in a position to make the playoffs. On a lighter note, maybe they can bring in Chaz to be the starting pitcher. Hey, let's start him. Oh, that's a single into left field. Trout is on first base with a single and no outs here in the bottom of the 6th. Did you guys and gals see my awesome my awesome black rhino JP France picture. Take a look at it. It's on the screen right now, upper left corner. 87 miles an hour on the lower outside corner. Strike one to Taylor Ward. That picture came out perfect. I love it. Here comes 0-1 pitch. 88 in the top of the zone. Strike two, baby. I I I think it would be awesome for the Astros to just call up Chaz and put him out there on the mound tomorrow. Bring him up from the minors again. Let him finish out the season. 77 miles an hour on the inside edge. Ward goes down on 3 straight pitches. Looking. Oh, man. Still Viper, thank you so much. Still Viper with a $20 super chat. Very generous, sir. Says, our season may be coming to an end. Thank you for having a great broadcast. Thank you so much for that. And I will say, and thank you for being such a great supporter and fan. Absolutely. 0-1 is the count to Logan O'Hoppe. Here's the toss. 86 miles an hour, low and outside. One ball, one strike with one out and a runner on second. Here's the pitch from France. Low and outside again. 2-1. Rusty Gamer with the $10 arbitrary Black Rhino sighting super chats. Thank you so much. Thank you for that rare super chat sighting. That next pitch is down below the zone. 3 balls and 1 strike. Logan O'Hoppe. 1 out. Runner on second for Mr. JP France. Here comes the toss. Low and outside, and that will be a walk. What are you doing, Rhino? Maybe he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Maybe he just wants the double play. Who knows? Who knows? We'll find out. Let's go back up. I missed a couple of comments here. Jesse says there's a big antique shop in the old Northwest Mall. Maybe you can still find all their gear. Found lots of old Star Wars action figures and gear, vintage stuff. That's pretty cool. There are a couple of places in Tokyo where you can find a bunch of old vintage toys. I actually got myself an old Soundwave from the Transformers. I had one of those when I was a kid, and it was like one of my prized possession toys. And I was able to find another one while I was in Tokyo. Vintage toy shop. Pretty cool. 87 miles an hour right in there. Swing and a miss. 1-1 is the count to Christian Moore. VentureCast says, I'll never forget the Texans beating the Cowboys. Their first ever regular season game. I've been hooked since, but they haven't really delivered in the postseason yet. Yep, that's right. Lots of hype and potential. Just haven't got there yet. The Black Rhino puts that one at the bottom of the zone for 1-2 against Mr. Moore. Michael says, thank you for doing what you do, Go. I pray for your health, and I hope to see you next year. I respect your Altuve fandom. I feel the same for that miniature Superman. That's right. He's the mini Superman. Let's hope he has a better year next year than he did this year. This year was so-so for Altuve. It was difficult for the whole team, but let's hope he can really turn it on next year. But thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support. The channel's not over. Obviously, I'm going to be moving into football and basketball. Whoa, 88 miles an hour. The Astros actually got a ball outside the zone, so the umpire has given one back after the Astros losing so many calls at the plate. They give one to the Black Rhino, and that's a strikeout. 2 outs and 2 people on first and second. JP France on the mound for the Stros. Up to 20 pitches. Come on, JP. That's low. First pitch to Oswald Peraza. Yes, Brendan, I plan to be doing the Rockets. I just think that there's no way I cannot do the Rockets. Obviously, the Texans, the Texans are a big deal, and I got to do the Texans. But that's only one game a week, and that's not enough. I need to stay busy. And doing the NBA games and the Texans games both will keep me busy. So I'm going to be doing both. So the short answer is yes. 87 miles an hour, foul off of Diaz's mask. 1 and 2 is the count to Peraza. Robert says it's the end of a season, but the beginning of better things to come. Go Astros. Absolutely. I sure hope so. You know, the Astros, my house and my health are also similar right now, all having a difficult time. Fouled back. Count remains 1 and 2. I'm just hoping that my health is able to improve. I'm able to improve my house. My channel continues to improve. And the Astros are able to come back next year and improve. You know what I'm saying? Here comes the 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. The Black Rhino comes in with another strikeout. That's 3 strikeouts for Jen in a game where it doesn't really matter. And he picks up 3 strikeouts. That's my man, JP France. We were blessed with the rare sighting of the Black Rhino. Yeah, PK, I was waiting for you to see. I was waiting for you to see it. I love it too. Isn't it perfect? It came out perfect. I love it. Maybe I should do something like that with all of the Astros picks. Maybe in the off season I'll work on that. I'll update. I plan to update everything for the Astros layout, for the on-screen overlay and the layout and everything. I'm gonna try to make things a little better in every way that I can. I've been working on a layout for the Texans games. Actually, I think I can show you guys and gals. Let's see here. Glenn says, I once had to go get J.R. Richards a plate of barbecue at our opening day for Little League. He signed a ball for me. That's pretty cool. Glenn, yes, I'm sorry. The Astros are eliminated. Even if they win today and tomorrow, they're out. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Yeah, I agree, Jesse. Altuve's not washed up yet. He's still got it in him. He's the little engine that could, you know. Venturecast says my dad worked for Chevron and used to get us free tickets to the Astros games and rodeo in the Astrodome. Also miss Astroworld. Good memories. I mean, the Dome had everything, man. They had like monster trucks, and they had indoor racing. They had animal events. They had agricultural events. They had basketball, baseball, football. I'm sure they had soccer. They did everything there. They had freaking everything. The Dome had everything. And Astroworld, yeah. There was a very short period of my life. Those were the happiest memories of my childhood. I'm not joking. From the time I was born until the time right before we left Houston. Happiest memories of my freaking life when I was a kid. Ground ball by Cole over the right side. And he's thrown out at first base, and that's 1 down. Now, I wouldn't say that the happiest memories of my entire life are my childhood during that time, because There are a lot of things that I've done since I've been an adult that far surpass that. But as a child, during my childhood, from the time I was born into the time I finished high school, I guess you could say, during that whole time, far and away, my childhood in Houston, those first 7 or so years of my life, far and away, not only the best of my life, but nothing but good times, nothing but good memories. Even though I was sick, I don't know if I told you guys in Galzette, but I got so sick when I was a kid. I was in elementary school in Houston. I was going to North Shore Elementary at the time, and I got so sick that I had to go into Texas Children's Hospital. Buddy Sanchi at the plate has the 1-1 count. He swings and misses that one, and now it's 1-2. One out, nobody on. Hey, Sarcastic Prodigy. World Wildlife Fund Super Chat. Years ago, I actually did contribute $20 to the Rhino Endangered Species Fund at the San Diego Zoo. Okay, I know what to call this. This is the JP France, JP Black Rhino France Endangered Species Rare Sighting Super Chat. How about that? Thank you so much, Prodigy. I appreciate that. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Buddy Sanchi. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Dana is still on the mound. He's up to 90 pitches now. Two balls and 2 strikes. The count remains with that foul ball. Yeah, Prodigy, that's the JP Black Rhino France Endangered Species Rare Sighting Super Chat. Ridiculous. Buddy Sanchi, no home run. No multi-home run yet for you. Maybe you'll have another chance in the 9th inning. That's 2 down. Mauricio Dubon comes to the plate. To work in Astroworld and high. Oh, Jesse, you used to work in Astroworld? That's cool. Times were good for my family when my dad was away and working overtime whenever he wanted to. And we would take off sometimes and go to the Astrodome, watch games, go to Astroworld. We went to the and we went to see. It was cool for me because I was an Astros fan. My brother was a Dodgers fan, and my sister was a Cubs fan. So whenever the Cubs would come or the Dodgers would come, we would go see games. And I was like, we can see all of those. It was a double win. Well, that's it for the Astros in this inning. Doobie goes down for out number 3. Top of the 7th is over. Astros up 5-1. Bottom of the 7th coming up with Denzer Guzman, the rookie, due up, followed by Bryce Teodosio and Luis Renjifo. Jeffrey Allen says 3 out of the top 5 home run hitters are playing in Seattle tonight. Raleigh, Ohtani, and Suarez. That's interesting. Glenn says, it's okay. It's been a great run. Proud to be an Astros fan. Same here. Venture says, yes, you could make a weekend at the Astrodome, watch the Astros, stay at the hotel next door, and go to Astroworld and Waterworld, then go to Galveston the next weekend. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we went to Galveston a couple of times. But even as an adult, I've never been really big about swimming in the ocean water because I don't like that you can't see what's in the water. I prefer a swimming pool. I love the beach. I especially love playing volleyball on the beach. That's freaking fun. I'd love playing volleyball on a nice, soft sand beach. That's fun. But man, swimming in the ocean, I was never a fan. If you take me to a place like the Bahamas, oh yes, all day long. I'd love to go to the Bahamas. But the Gulf, nope. Even Florida, when I went there with my my high school, I didn't care for it. I just stayed on the beach and played volleyball. I didn't go in the water. Just not my thing. I like to swim, but I love the swimming pool. Love the clear water with no animals. Here comes the pitch. The black rhino is still on the mound, by the way. 1 ball, 1 strike to Guzman. You know, Prodigy, I can make a JP France shirt, but I can't put his likeness on the shirt. I could, you know how he wears those glasses and he's got the mustache? I could put those things on the shirt and I could put the rhino on the shirt, but I'd have to do it in a way where it wasn't obviously a rendition of JP France. Now, of course, my viewers here would understand that it's a JP France reference. But I think if you wear a black rhino shirt with the mustache and the glasses, you wear it into the park, into Dykene Park. Most Astros fans are going to have no clue what that is. They're going to be like, "Who's the black rhino? What's the black rhino?" The 3-1 pitch is a swing and a miss, full count. That's why I had to be a little tricky. If you look in my shop, in my online shop, and you look at my South Korea merchandise, you might wonder why it doesn't have like the caricature of Carlos Correa. And that's because I can't directly make it obvious that it's Carlos Correa. Swing and a miss. 4th strikeout for the Black Rhino. 4 outs, 4 strikeouts. Jesse says, I remember in the summers going to Astros games at the Astrodome, then long walks across the parking lot going to Astro World. Yeah, even though that was so long ago for me, that was more than 40 years ago, and I can still remember that. That's crazy. 1-0. Here's the pitch. Teodosio fouls it back. It's 1-1. Venture says, my brother was an electrician in the union and worked on building Enron Field. He snuck me into Drayton McLean's office before construction was finished. Got a cool pic of myself in there. That's pretty cool. That's cool. 92, just a little outside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Teodosio. 1 out, nobody on. JP France is up to 34 pitches. Here comes the 35th. Oh, that was a nice pitch at the top of the zone. The umpire was not nice. If you treat the Black Rhino like that, he might just disappear. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the next pitch. First base to get the out, despite Teodosio's best efforts to get there. 2 down. Luis Rengifo comes to the plate. I think that the conversation in the chat becomes much more broad, or becomes much more interesting and expansive whenever there's nothing important to focus on in the game, right? The game is just kind of secondary now. It's not the main event now. That'd be a strike. The first pitch to Rengifo is right in there on the curveball. Here's Jason Alexander. You did your best, buddy. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Outside. It doesn't feel like it, but it's 12:30 in the afternoon right now. It's lunchtime. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Fouled off. 1-2. I need to sneeze. I'm glad I had plenty of time to hit the mute button there. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Strike him out, baby. It's in the dirt. 2-2. That's right. Now we know what it feels like to be a Rangers fan. Sure enough. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Oof. Looks like Yiner got a little hurt on that one. Fouled off. I think it got him on the hand, but he seems to be all right. Yiner looked at his fingernail. He started to bite it, and then he stopped. He's like, wait a second, I'm probably on TV. Jose Altuve does that a lot. He's constantly biting his fingernails out in the field, right? I've seen him do that so many times. That's hit high out in right field. Are they going to be able to get to it? Matthews calls for it. Good play, Matthews. He called for it and ran out there really quick, got underneath and put it away. JP France now has 2 innings of work. Pretty good outing by the Black Rhino. 7 innings of ball are gone. The top of the 8th coming up in just a moment. I'll be interested to see if the Angels keep Caden Dana in the game. He's up to 93 pitches, 67 in the zone. Taylor Trammell, the Tram, is due up next. They've got 5 players of the game on the screen right now. Only one of them is an Angel. That's a nice change of pace. Usually it's like 5 of the other, four of the other team and 1 Astro. But not today. Today it's 4 Astros and 1 Angel. Are there any other interesting things going on around the league? Any other interesting games? Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Dodgers and the Mariners tied up at 3 in the top of the 7th. Royals beating the Athletics 3-0 in the 6th. The Yankees spanked the Orioles. No surprise there. The Cubs beat the Cardinals. No surprise there. The Blue Jays beat the Rays. Also no surprise. The Nationals and the White Sox. 2 teams that don't really matter right now. Giants beat the Rockies. Okay. We already know about the Red Sox failing against the Tigers. And the Guardians dashing our hopes against the Rangers. Okay, so the Angels do have another pitcher on the mound. He's facing the Tram. This is Jose Urena. One ball, no strikes to the Tram. Here's the pitch. 96 on the outside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. You know, I want to say that you've been all great today with the likes on the live stream, because I think that on average there have been about 60 people in the live stream. I haven't seen more than 60 people in the live stream. Trammell hits that one way up in the air to center field. Center field camps out underneath it, center fielder, and he gets it. Right now we got 57 following along and listening in. Thanks for sticking around. And 52 likes on the video. That's a pretty awesome ratio. That's really awesome. So I appreciate that. Here's the first pitch to Matthews. Bryce Matthews at the plate. 97 miles an hour. Just misses the mark for ball one.
Tracking fly.
Ball two. Here's the next pitch from Urania. 97 hits straight up in the air on the infield. First baseman comes over and grabs it right near the pitcher mound. And that's out number two. Victor Caratini due up next. Robert Garcia says, that's what I call true fans. That's right. Hardcore fans. Jesse says, this Astros loss is nothing new for me. Feel sorry for younger Astros fans growing up watching the team going to the playoffs every year. Now seeing their team go home. Yeah, that's right. Every year. They grew up with that. If you think about somebody like my daughter is about to be 25 years old. She's not an Astros fan, but then again, she's not into any sports as far as I know. But if she were an Astros fan, she'd be one of those, right? She would have grown up spending a lot of time watching the Astros win and just own people. 2 balls and no strikes to the Batman. Here comes the toss. Low and inside, but a swing and a miss. 2-1 is the count. Venture says, on another note, I've enjoyed seeing your vlogs in Japan. Pretty cool. One of these days, I'll make a trip there. An error this time. He scoops it up and fires it over to first. That's out number 3. So 1, 2, 3, the Astros go down in order in the top of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th coming up. We're just an inning and a half and away from this one. Venture, by the way, I meant to tell you the same thing to you. Occasionally I check out your videos because, you know, the taking the cruises and stuff, something I've never done. I've always been interested in it, but I've never really had a good opportunity or the time, right, for me to do it. But I noticed that you've been making some videos that are very practical. For those of you who are interested in cruises, or those of you who take cruises and that sort of thing, you can check out Venture sorts of things related to the cruise lines. But I did see the video recently that you posted about the points program, them offering extra points, but only for a limited time. And so was it Carnival? One of these cruise lines that knew that people would be trying to get their points up, and they were offering some special package that was available for a limited time where people could buy that and they got extra points and all of those things. But those kind of go over my head because I've never even been on a cruise ship. I've been on ferries, especially here in Japan. I've been on several ferries, but I've never been on a cruise. So understanding all of their point systems and when to travel and where to go and how to get deals, et cetera, and everything that's offered on the ships. I don't know anything about any of those things, but I think your channel is very interesting. I learn a little bit about the industry by listening to some of your videos. Here comes the second pitch to Trout. 2 straight balls. The Black Rhino still on the mound for the Astros. So right now it's Black Rhino versus River Trout. Woo! Right at the top of the zone, called a ball, 3-0. But yeah, if you ever make a trip over here and I'm still here, reach out. Always happy to meet up with people. Show them around. That's in there for strike 1. 3-1 is the count. I don't know if it's because of just because of my physical condition or because of anxiety related to that or whatever, but I've been questioning my longevity recently. But I still hope in my heart, I still hope that I can get better, I can improve and prove the doctor wrong. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. What in the world is buildsubmarines.com? That's a fly ball to right field. Sanchi's under it, and he puts it away. Trout goes down. Japan is an absolutely wonderful place to visit. Even here in Hiroshima, if you don't go to Tokyo or Kyoto or Osaka, the really, really famous places, you can still have a really wonderful trip in Hiroshima because there are several places to see, historical places, beautiful shrines. There's great food here. It's clean. Of course, everywhere in Japan is pretty much clean. Very safe. People are very nice. You'll be treated really well. It's a wonderful place to visit. If you're going to live here, then you just need to make sure that you make good money. 2 pitches now to Carter Kieboom. Kieboom? He's pinch hitting for Taylor Ward. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out, nobody on. Fouled off. 1-2. Robert says we got spoiled on being on top. We got spoiled being on top. It's all good though. We bet. Yeah, we don't want to become like the Yankees fans or the Dodgers fans where we become entitled, right? Where we have to be in the playoffs every year and we always have to have a shot at the World Series. We have to expect that every single year or the Astros suck, you know. We don't need to be like that. Another foul ball. The count remains 1-2. Jesse says my daughter was 14, now 22. Huh? My daughter was 14 at one time. '85 out to right field. A fly ball off that pitch, off the cutter. Another fly ball to Sanchi, and he puts that one away like the first one. 2 down. Joe Adele is due up next. Daryl, you're awesome. Thank you. Venture says, thanks, man. Appreciate that. It confuses me, too. I like to do vlogs of my trips, but also enjoy covering the drama also. I understand that. Sometimes it's just too interesting. You feel like nobody else is talking about it, so you just have to share, you know? I mean, I do the same thing on this channel. If there's an aspect of the Astros that I feel like nobody's talking about and people are missing, then I'll definitely talk about it. First pitch to Joe Adele is in there for strike 1. France up to 54 pitches. Here's the 55th. Low and outside. 1-1. Here comes a 1-1 toss from France. Just a little low and outside. 2-1. Oh, I meant to say, I completely forgot. I have the giveaway results. And tomorrow, since tomorrow is the last game, I plan to reveal those during tomorrow's game. It's a good time to do that, I think, since tomorrow's game. Is he going to cry? Joe spotted his eyes looked like they were sparkling. Like he's sad. Jake Myers laughing it up over there with the calf injury. Calf soreness. 2-2. Check swing, did he go? They say, yes, he did. JP France with another strikeout. How about that? We are really privileged to witness the glory of this rare black rhino sighting. That's 3 innings pitched for JP France. Nice outing. Top of the ninth coming up. Astros up 5-1. Ramon Urias due up, followed by Walker and Diaz. But anyway, what I was saying is that since it's obvious that there's almost no there's almost no urgency to tomorrow's game, that it's a good opportunity to go ahead and share the results of the giveaway. I was thinking about doing that this weekend. I think I told you guys a couple days ago that I would do it this weekend, but I changed my mind. And the reason I changed my mind is because of the playoff race. You know, the Astros weren't definitely in or definitely out. And because there's so much focus on the game and the other games that were going on, I didn't want to be distracted from that and take away from that focus. But now that the Astros postseason is decided and these last couple of games don't matter for anything more than dignity for the Astros, I figured it's a perfect time for me to go ahead and share the winners of my giveaway. And then I will contact those winners directly and verify their mailing addresses. And then I will be sending out the main winner package along with the postcards. But actually, I have to pick up a few more postcards. And the reason is because I did the quiz style giveaway where I asked questions about the channel, about myself, just to kind of test to see who knows what. And several of you tied. And I feel like if I just pick a few of those who tied with a few others, or if I just draw from those, it's not quite fair. And postcards for the second, third, fourth place, etc., they're not expensive. So I'm just going to get extra. So 6 or 7 of you will be getting postcards from me for runners-up answers, and then one of you will be getting the Japan Ghostros 1,000 subscriber thank you package. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. Hey, J. Paul. Yep, been a fun season sometimes. Yeah, good job to you, and see you next year. Yeah, Jay, if you're not back for any basketball or football, then I will see you in my other baseball Astros content. Walker at the plate. I guess that means you won't be checking out the game tomorrow either. But I will be here tomorrow for the game. 0-2 is the count to Christian Walker. Here's the toss. He grounds it foul down the third base line. Arena still on the mound for the Angels. Prodigy says, I'm thinking that I'll pull for the Mariners or the Blue Jays in the NL. I think that I can pull for the Brewers, Cubs, or the Padres. I could definitely go for the Brewers. Hey, this is hit hard to left field. That's going to be another home run for Walker into the bullpen. 4 home runs in 3 games for Christian Walker. Christian Walker just tied Altuve with homers on the season. Altuve was leading the team in homers until that one right there. 396 feet into the Astros bullpen. 6-1 Astros with 1 out here in the top of the ninth. Yiner Diaz at the plate. Here comes the toss. Fouled off. 1-1. I could never pull for the Cubs. I can't stand the Cubs. The two teams that I dislike the most are the Cubs and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are number one. Outside. He couldn't even catch that one. 2 balls and 1 strike to Diaz. I don't have anything against the Padres or the Brewers, so those are a couple of teams that I could pull for. I'm not really into the Mariners. I wouldn't necessarily have any problem with the Blue Jays. You know, they've got Springer, so I wouldn't mind seeing them go. Um, don't like the Yankees. That's hit hard out of the left field, but I think that's going to be inside the park. It is right on the edge of the warning track, and that's a fly out for Yiner. Out number 2. He almost got himself a homer. No. Zach Cole, speaking of homer, Zach Cole comes to the plate. He's got himself a 2-run homer today. Here comes the next pitch. First one to Zach Cole's outside, ball 1. Yeah, Mr. Antonio, that's what it feels like, right? Now they decide to start hitting home runs. That's right. Absolutely right. Sanchez, Cole, Walker twice, 4 home runs in this game. That pitch is low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Craig Kimbrell is warming up in the bullpen. Zach Cole has himself a hit right up the middle. The rookie Guzman is able to run over and cut it off, but there's no play to first base due to the speed of Cole. That's going to be an infield hit. Good hustle by Guzman. Just no time to throw it over. Buddy Sanchi comes to the plate. Is Sanchi going to get a second homer? If he hits another 2-run homer right here, I'm just going to fall out of my chair. Astros with 4 home runs today. Walker with 2. Sanchez has been hitting terribly, and he's got 1. That's outside, 2-0. Ohapi wants to come out and have a little chat with Urena. Let me take a look at the NFL schedule here. If we take a look at the Texans' schedule, you see here on my screen, tomorrow at 2 a.m., the Titans are going to be playing in Houston. And I plan to be doing this game. Just letting you know. I haven't scheduled it online yet, but I plan to be doing it. So it's my first time doing this in the Texans game. So it's probably going to be pretty rough. But we'll try it. We'll get together and we'll see how it goes, right? I hope you guys and gals can join me if you're interested in the Texans. I'm looking forward to it because I haven't watched NFL football in a really long time. And I'm going to rely on all of you to get me up to speed. I'm familiar with a couple of the players just because of name notoriety and because some of them have a background with teams that I'm familiar with from college. 2-2, swing and a miss, and that's strike 3. Sanchi goes down. And 1 more lobster for the Astros, but they have almost none. The Astros only have 2. They've only left 2 guys on base without moving them around this whole game. Just 2. I think this is the Astros' best game all year. Isn't it amazing? For stranding runners on base, this is the Astros' best performance all year. Just 2. Just 2. The Angels have 16 lobsters, 16 opportunities lost. That's amazing. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Craig Kimbrell is going to be replacing the Black Rhino. Jeffrey says, I wouldn't be mad at Raleigh versus Judge for the AL crown. Well, I don't have anything against Raleigh or Judge, but because they play for the Mariners and the Yankees, then I want neither of them to be in the ALCS. But if they're both in the ALCS, to me, that's a loss because that means one of them have to go to the World Series. One of them has to go, right? And I don't want that. I would rather see some different teams go in, to be honest. Some teams that I don't have anything, because to me, I don't care how much I respect, however much I respect Judge or Raleigh, the big dumper, doesn't matter because I can't stand the organizations, especially the Yankees. But you know, the Mariners fans are really the worst. I mean, well, let's be honest. Yankees fans are terrible too. But I don't know. It's like I said yesterday. It's like asking me if I would rather have my right arm chopped off or my left arm chopped off. I'd rather keep both. That's the way I feel about. Would you rather have the Yankees or the Mariners go in the World Series? Well, I'd rather neither. Here's the first pitch from Kimbrel. Nice pitch right in there, 93 miles an hour, and that quick ball. Logan O'Hoppe is at the plate with the 0-1 count. Larry, get out of here with that. Astros are not going to have a meltdown in the ninth inning. Not in this game. Not in this game because this game doesn't matter. 1 ball, 1 strike from Kimbrel. Here's the next pitch to O'Hoppe. That's hit straight up in the air. Is it going to be playable? No, it's out of play, and that's strike 2. 1-2. Yeah, Marty, that's what I've been seeing is that a lot of people are complaining about the protection of the from the offensive line. I remember poor Joe Burrow getting destroyed when he first got into the NFL with the Bengals. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. 94 fouled off. Count remains 2-2. The Bengals was so terrible. They were so terrible. And Joe Burrow came in and was just getting his butt destroyed. Poor guy. Here comes another 2-2 pitch. So Hoppy. It's a fly ball to right field. Sanchez floats in and grabs it for out number 1. Christian Moore is due up next. But you know, Marty, I will say this. I was hearing a lot of hype about the Texans before the season started. Now everyone says the season is over. And they're saying all the same things about they were saying all the same things about the Rockets. They're like, well, at least we have basketball. But then recently I've also heard some people say that even the Rockets season is over before it even got started because of what's happened there. So it's almost like people just can't be satisfied, This season's going to be great. And a few days later, this season's over. So ridiculous. High and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Christian Moore. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the Texans can put something together tomorrow. One of my subscribers told me maybe if I call the games, it'll bring them some luck because they need some kind of change. That'd be great if I start calling their games and they went out for the rest of the season. Everybody will think that I'm super, super luck. We'll see. 94, just above the zone, swing and a miss, and that's a strike 3. Go sit down, Mr. Moore. You can pitch. I'm sorry, you can swing no more. 2 outs. 1 out remaining. Oswald Peraza is standing between the Astros and a W for this game. 6-1 is the score right now. Wow. That pitch was so terrible. It was not only low and outside in the dirt, but it bounced a couple of feet before the plate and he swung at it. What a goob. 2 feet in front of the plate, and it wasn't even in front of the plate. It was like 2 feet in front of the opposite batter's box, and he swung at it. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the toss. High. 1-1. Yeah, I always want to see the Texans beat the Titans. I want them to destroy the Titans. Always destroy the Titans. Here's the pitch. Low and outside. 2-1. Come on, Kimbrel, lock her down. Lock her down now. Lock her down now. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. 93, foul tip, swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We are 1 strike away from win number 86 for the STROS. Didn't quite get to 90. 94 up and out, full count. I will tell you this, though, because of the way the LSU Tigers played today, I'm more than happy to just go ahead and follow the Texans anyway. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, up and in, 93-mile-per-hour fastball. And that's the end of the game. So much for Larry's meltdown. The Astros have a really good game, too, versus the Angels, although it's unnecessary for playoff contention. The Astros have been officially eliminated, but we still have one more game to play tomorrow before they can go back home and try to work out just what happened this year. Obviously, the big deal that everybody knows about the 2025 season was the injuries, right? But apart from that, the Astros have a lot of questions to ask and a lot of soul searching to do. The staff, the medical staff, the coaches, the trainers, the head coach, the manager, and of course, all the players. Everybody has a lot to think about in this offseason. But we still have one more game to go tomorrow. This series is tied up 1-1. Let's take a quick look at some info about this game and tomorrow's game. And by the way, just to let you know again, I think you probably already heard it, but I'll mention it again. Let me bring it down on the screen here and see. The Titans are playing in Houston tomorrow. Both teams are 0-3. I think that this is a good opportunity for the Texans to get on track. I would say get back on track, but they haven't even been on the track yet. But this is an opportunity for them to actually establish themselves, kind of shake off the crap that's happened before and get something going. This game starts at 2 a.m. for me, but I plan to be live streaming the game. And I don't mean showing the full game. I mean calling the game and doing commentary for the game. But this is the first time I've done this for the Texans. And I've only been doing baseball, only been doing the Astros since last year. But I do hope that any of you who are into the Texans can join me for this game, just letting you know. But now let's go to the I'm on the wrong scoreboard here. I'm on the NFL scoreboard. We need to go to the MLB. There we go. Let's take a quick look at tomorrow's game just real fast. Why isn't it changing? That's ridiculous. Okay, there we are. Scores. Let me go all the way down to the Astros. Here we go. Tomorrow's game. Last game of the season, guys and gals. I hope you can join me for that because I will be here. Even though this game starts. Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot. This game starts a little earlier. So this game is still going to be going on. I'm sorry. This game will start when the Texans game is still going. So here's the thing. If I don't have any issues and I'm able to get my Texans stream going and it's working out fine, then I plan to finish that game. And then now maybe I will switch over to the Astros game if for some reason the Texans are getting destroyed, but I don't really want to do that. I want to stick with the one game. And I can probably go back and forth whenever there's a break because football has a lot of commercials. I can go back and forth and I can check on the Astros games. But since the Texans game starts 2 hours before the Astros game, we're going to focus on that one. And I hope to finish that game before I switch over to the Astros, okay? Just letting you know right now. So if you come here, you can still type in the chat, right? And for the Astros game, but if it's not live streaming at that time, it's going to be because I'm actively live streaming the Texans game. If for some reason I have a problem, like a technical problem or something like that with the Texans game, then I will only do the Astros game. There you go. So, anyway, the Astros pitcher for tomorrow is undecided. They haven't decided who to put on the mound yet. So, there's no way to know at this time. But today, for this game, the Astros hit a lot of home runs, basically. Cole hit a 2-run homer in the second. Walker homered in the fourth. Sanchez homered, 2-run homer in the fourth. Adele doubled for the Angels, scoring Trout. That was their only run. And then Walker homered again in the ninth. The Astros won this game 6-1. Now, the pitching was quite good for the Astros overall. Blue ball, 4 innings pitched. 1 hit, no runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. De Los Santos, 1 inning pitched, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. JP France, the Black Rhino himself, 3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. His first time back. Good first appearance, I think. Kimbrel, 1 inning pitched, no hits, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Solid performance overall by the Astros. They gave up 3 hits in this whole game, 1 earned run, 5 walks, and picked up 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 strikeouts combined. Good pitching performance and good batting performance. And my question is, where was this at before? I'm wondering the same thing you are. Where was all this when it was really, really important? Today, it didn't matter. It wound up not mattering. It could have mattered, but it wound up not mattering. Prodigy says Georgia lost to Alabama. I'm surprised about that, actually. Does Cole remind me of Hunter Pence. I never thought about that. Um, I never thought about that. Are you talking about in what particular way? Because I never really thought about that. Ooh, man, I am feeling winded. I've been up since 4, so I'm about ready. I think go cook some eggs, drink myself a little bit of that electrolyte drink, and get a little bit of rest. But I appreciate you all being here. Astros had a good game today, but unfortunately, it's all for naught. I do plan to do, like I said, the Texans game tomorrow, so I hope to see you there for that. And unless I have a problem with my setup, then I'll be doing that and focus on that. Now that the Astros are not going to be in the playoffs, I will finish the Texans game, and then after that is over, then I'll come finish the Astros game after that. If I have some kind of issue with the Texans game, like I said, then I'll just do the Astros game. But you're welcome to come in and use the chat and leave comments during the game. If I can find a way to put up the live score on the screen and keep that up, then I'll do it, but it might be a little difficult. Prodigy says the combination of power and speed, maybe skills. Okay, I see. Well, I can see that. I can see that. I never thought about it, but I can see that. Prodigy says probably see you tomorrow at some time. Thank you. You're welcome, and thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the donations, the positivity, and thanks for hanging in there all the way to the end. I know it's not easy, but there's also kind of a relief, right? It kind of feels like at least the Astros can rest now. You know, they can take a mental break, a physical break for the first time. Even though they got another game tomorrow, they can literally take a deep breath and just they don't have to go out and press tomorrow. They can just go have fun tomorrow, relax, and then look forward to taking some time off, recovering, getting better, getting healthy. And then we'll see how the team is reformed in the off season, right? But until then, let's just try to enjoy things. You know, we've got the holidays coming up soon. After Halloween, we've got Thanksgiving coming. We've got Christmas coming. The temperature here is changing pretty quickly. You can see I've got my long sleeve shirt on today because the temperature went down a lot overnight. We got holidays coming up. This is a very important time of year. We should be enjoying ourselves, you know, feeling happy, feeling loved, loving other people, spending time with other people. You know what I'm saying? So I think that maybe while the Astros are relaxing and recovering and doing the things that they need to do in the off season, we can be doing the same things for ourselves and for our loved ones. You know what I'm saying? Robert says, I think they're truly burned out. They might be. And I feel the same way. I feel a lot of the same way. I've got my own issues here, but this channel and this community has really helped me with that, and that's one of the reasons why I can't imagine waiting until next season and not doing any content until then. That's kind of crazy to me. Steel Viper with the super chat, a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Steel Viper says, thanks again. The season may be ending, but this is only the beginning of the channel getting bigger. Prayers and good health to everyone. Thank you so much, Steel Viper. You've been very supportive all this time. And there are no words for me to express to you and my other supporters the appreciation and the gratitude I have for your support. I did have a friend come visit last night. He and his wife came by. He's from Australia. and his wife is from Japan. They live in a place called Totori. Hang on one second. Let me reply to this before it expires. If I don't reply to the super chats within a certain amount of seconds, it expires and I can't reply. There we go. So this is the super supporter super chat. Arigato gozaimasu, still Viper-san. Thank you so much. And Caesar, keep it up. Oh man, that exercise emoji makes me tired just looking at it. But thank you, Caesar, so much for that $5 super chat. I appreciate that. And I was saying that a friend of mine came by last night with his wife, and they visited. We sat in there for about an hour or so on my only really carpeted floor in the entire house, the only clean area in the entire house where you can kind of sit down on the floor, take off your shoes, and just sit down on the floor and chat, and visited for a little while. And we talked a little bit about those things, about health and my channel, my house, trying to grow things here on my channel, trying to continue to improve things here at my house, get through the winter, because that's a big deal. It might not sound like a problem for most people, but going through winter in this house, especially in my health condition, is very, very challenging. So I've been considering whether or not I should rent a temporary place in the city during the winter time, because here I have no indoor plumbing. I have no indoor tub, shower, or toilet. Everything is outside, and it gets down to below freezing here. And there's sometimes heavy snow. So, and it's freezing in the house, by the way. It gets freezing in the house. So, if I can financially afford it, I was thinking about getting going to a share house, a place where many people stay. You can pay by the month or pay by the week. But if you pay by the month, it's a pretty good deal. And you don't have to pay any extra for utilities and internet and things like that. You just pay one flat fee and staying there for the winter. And then for the live streams, I can just go to a private room, or I can go to like a net cafe or wherever I need to go in order to do the live streams. But we'll see. Either way, I plan to work it out and do what I can. And I wouldn't be able to do this at all without your support. I'm not in good enough condition to go and teach again or go back into the full-time job. I physically can't do it. So I just want you all to know that I appreciate your support, and I do hope that at the very least I'm able to keep doing this, and hopefully my body can heal. I can get better. The community can continue to grow, and we'll all just get better and better together. That's what I hope. I won't predict the future, but that's what I hope. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much again. I love you all, and I will see you probably in about 12 and a half hours from now. Have a good afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Go STROS, and I will see you tomorrow's. Bye-bye for now.